Actually, now that you mention it, you guys ever hear of Mount Tsurugi?
Is that an underground mountain where they're about to kill us?
It's an above-ground mountain, but
okay,
they
good.
might have been about to kill people there. And obviously, like we like to do here on Fort Fritz, I'm probably butchering the name of this place, but Tsurugi.
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 Tsurugi. Anyway, it's a beautiful mountain. It started what I read was the alpine culture in Japan in the 60s when people actually started getting into climbing and doing outdoorsy shit. This is like a very alpine trail. There's like a lot of hiking and stuff. It's a gorgeous mountain.
Let's get healthy and climb that shit.
Yeah, let's get physical.
So it's a beautiful mountain, heavily touristed area, but there's some strange happenings that occur around Mount Tsurugi.
Is it kind of like haunted like the Mount Fuji foothills or no?
I would say no.
Forest?
Right, so no.
This is more like Return to Witch Mountain?
This is, what would I liken this to? This is more like, kind of like National Treasure. You ever see National Treasure with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's
It's exactly like that, but with a mountain.
Okay.
So,
I think all of our listeners right now know exactly what we're
Yeah,
talking
they're
about.
dead on.
Perfect. Yeah. All right.
was that was the name of the movie, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
You kidding me? Come on.
Was it ever?
Of course. 7
A man named Masanori Takane in 1936 decided that he had several theories about the juxtaposition of Christian biblical myths and certain sort of ancient Japanese stories that he was able to draw parallels from. There's like weird saints or biblical figures that did or said things that have a parallel in these like ancient writings that he was a student of. So he kind of put two and two together through scholarly research and decided that there was something of note to be excavated or to be explored on Mount Tsurugi. And he believed, or at least the prevailing theory after that was that he was searching for Noah's Ark, that he believed that Noah's Ark was beached on Mount Tsurugi and that he was going to be able to identify the place where it happened.
His time on Earth was spent going through ancient biblical texts.
Right, this man's a scholar, and then he decides, you know what, in 1936, he's gonna lead an excavation to the mountain,
which is
start digging up stuff and see.
But everyone knows it was on Mount Ararat, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's common knowledge.
White people fake news.
No, it's just, that's where the giant boat that obviously could contain every single animal on Earth existed, because that's a thing that could have happened.
Well, and when
it really happened.
If you're Noah. Or like Noah's boys, like in the area of Noah at the time.
It's the lamest gang ever.
Noah's boys.
Hey. With a Z. It had to be with a Z.
Hey, what you doing with them zebras, dog? So yeah, Noah probably like every animal to Noah was like 20 or 30 animals. It was like fucking the animals in the area. I'm gonna save these and we're gonna put them on the thing and then we're gonna go. Like,
no, it was every single
on
animal.
Earth, which
walrus eye,
oh my God,
muskies,
man, okay, come on. We know how
bobcats,
you feel about this. Just stop, okay? No one,
crawdads,
other than you thinks
no
that
one
this
believes
did not
in
happen.
Noah other than you.
Thank
all right,
you.
like we have
you.
completely abandoned that myth, and you continue to push it on us.
Also, thank you to Jack Chick Tracks, our newest sponsor.
I was wondering about that.
What?
So, 1936, Masanori Takane decided he was going to conduct an expedition to the mountain and try to excavate a site that he believed was going to contain artifacts or potentially lead to Noah's Ark, the placement of Noah's Ark.
How long would that hike be? Would it be like a couple of days, maybe a week?
I imagine the area looks pretty remote, and they don't have specifics on the the timeline of what happened there. It's kind of, you get the beginning, middle, end. But from what I understand, there are several parts of it that are tough hikes, but they also have that's why it's such a popular mountain. There are easy areas where you can just kind of foothill around, and then there's like go climb and be a badass on this face or whatever of the mountain. So in 1936, he goes with a team. They go to start to excavate, and they find stuff. They start finding artifacts. They find start finding pieces of essentially masonry, walls and things like that.
Fucking masonry?
Right?
They found fucking masonry.
Fucking masonry.
Fucking masonry.
You bet your fucking ass they did.
Goddamn fucking masonry.
Look at this.
Right.
Hey, guys, I found some fucking masonry over there.
Wait. I just found regular ass masonry over here. You got fucking masonry over there?
Hey, fucking Paul, you got fucking masonry?
Oi!
Hey, what's Tom Brady gonna do this
boy.
shit, Paul?
Hey, boy, got some fucking masonry over there. How's your father?
So they find bits of pottery, they find artifacts, right? And it's difficult to date any of them, but one of the more significant discoveries was of a tunnel, or the entrance to a tunnel. Upon
Sounds
further
badass.
exploration, they basically secured an area, I think it was around 150 meters, that is clearly has been constructed to contain something. It was almost like a
vessel?
a vault or something.
Yeah.
They found a room that was separate from the rest of the mountain, and it had something in it. Shortly thereafter, the Japanese government stepped in and shut the excavation down. There were several months. There was a lot of resupply and things like that. And then after a certain bit, they were told, "You're not allowed to do this anymore." Basically, the government stepped in. The guy with the M16 shows up, stands in front of the tunnel, and
It's always
says,
one of those
"No
guys."
more." And that's where this story kind of, from that perspective, from Masanori Takane's perspective, drops off. The theories on what's in that contained area go from Noah's Ark to bits of an ancient civilization that was carved into the side of this mountain, to the location of King Solomon's treasure, to some ancient Japanese folklore of a monster that was housed or basically imprisoned in the mountain.
So basically, everything from folk culture to real religious, cutting edge history, redefining things.
Exactly.
Either it's
something completely mundane or literally earth-shatteringly different than your entire world will allow.
It's one or the other. It's just one or the other. That's how it goes.
So anyway, there was another guy that went, let's call it like 30, there was another excavation sent roughly 20, 30 years later, and the exact same thing happened. The guy he had the funds, he started to dig into this area, started finding things, and started telling people about that, and shortly thereafter, the Japanese government stepped in, designated the entire area a national park, and forbade any excavation or attempts to excavate the land, right? Like
To dig further.
right. They were basically barred from exploring.
We found as much as we need to know about this area.
Yeah.
Away with you.
Well, I think there's more
you found
things
as much as we're allowing you to
Yeah.
find about this area.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that my team are now digging up. Check.
You
out.
don't have a team.
Well,
It's just you. You've
what-
got to stop saying that you have other people working with you. It's just you.
but I've been working a lot.
Yeah, by yourself. You don't have a team. I'm very proud of your achievements, but it's just you.
What about that thing right there?
That's your hand.
So can you tell me about that?
That's your hand. That's the thing you're using to dig. It's not a team. That's your
What
hand.
about that though?
That's your other hand. You have two hands. That's how that
Fuck
works.
me. I don't. Okay.
God, this guy.
So one of the more spooky legends around Mount Tsurugi is that it is guarded by a 40-foot,
Oh.
5-foot wide python or
Jesus
snake.
Christ. Wow.
Fuck are you, snake, man?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, anything he could end on? No, fuck me. Python.
Yeah.
Christ.
There are
The length is one thing. It's the width that freaks me the fuck out.
5 feet
Likewise.
around. Yeah,
Yeah, you can put like a fucking Volkswagen in that thing.
a person.
No, thank you.
So, legend has it that a large serpent guards the mountain.
Really large serpent.
And there was actually I believe it was the 80s, there was a legitimate sighting from some workers that worked at the national park who said that they saw an unusually large serpent, went to go investigate, and then found unusually large serpent tracks around broken downed trees.
Well, serpents don't have tracks. They have a track. It's just one long track.
He would track one way and then he'd track the other way, and then you got
It's just one long track.
Well, yeah, I mean, semantically, yes, fine. One snake track existed, appeared to be multiples from the perspective of the observers.
As he's scratching his head.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Now he's erasing several lines of dialogue. He's making sure he's getting the right verbiage.
Just
down.
saying. I mean, they just slither. They don't go dut, 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 dut. They go.
Fucking look at him. He's second guessing everything.
And he giving me the
Look,
the
he's
shook.
jibbies.
It's
I got the
okay.
jibbies right now. We're talking about big snakes. I don't like snakes. So yeah, big snake on the mountain. What the fuck else? So in addition to to this, mythically huge snake that protects the mountain. There is topographical evidence. That's how you say that. Topographical.
Depends on what you say next.
Well, what is topological? Is that even a word?
No.
Okay, so then if I would have said topological is not a word, then that would have been appropriate. And then
Yes.
topographical is the only one of those.
Topology is, though. Topology.
But topological, I don't know.
As the adjective?
Sure.
Anyway, so there is evidence to suggest that the very top of one of the peaks of the mountain is man-made, is not an actual... is meant to appear to be the top of a craggy peak of a mountain, but is part of a structure that is, they believe, the essentially capstone to the imprisonment of some giant, terrifying mythological beast, some type of mythological treasure. So just some dudes living in the mountain who died a long time ago, or whatever, like whatever you want.
So it's
just a cool spot that
it's just a cool spot that's like weird, and people like want to check it out.
You don't want to go there. You might see a giant snake. You might get great treasure. You might just check it out.
It sounds like a cool place, right? Like there's so many different weird things that can happen there. There's ancient sites. There's a fucking potential giant snake to run away from.
It's like Area 51. You don't want to go check it out. There could be some crazy.
There's some
shit.
stuff. You're gonna get a story out of it, right? It's about the experience. So anyway,
for sure.
That leads me to believe that this big mountain and that disgustingly huge throbbing sound that we're hearing is a fucking monster snake. And if so, I would have not wished to see my end with a more noble...
Your second end.
With a more noble and cutty-offy group of people than you two men.
Well, I gotta say something.